to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment as the Seattle Seahawks defeat the Detroit Lions 26-6 here on Wild Card Saturday for the 2017 NFL Playoffs. And look, I told you, man, the Seahawks were going to win this game easily. The Lions, for the past 3 weeks, have had an opportunity to show us and to show the world and show their fans and to show everybody that they could beat or at least be somewhat competitive or very competitive with a playoff team as they face the Giants, as they face the Cowboys, and as they face the Packers. And in each of those games, they lost by at least 7 points. And the one game that they lost by 7 points, really, it should have been 14 points, but they got a garbage touchdown. They weren't very close against the Giants. They definitely weren't close against the Cowboys. And against the Packers dominated them in the second half. And then today, we saw our team dominate them in the second half. This Lions team, quite frankly, isn't good enough. Okay, they're a team that started to do really well in the middle of the season. You know, they beat the Vikings. They came back and beat the Bears. They had some good games in there, but at the end of the day, they just aren't good enough. And I know what a lot of people are going to point to. Oh, the officiating. The officials tried to screw over the Detroit Lions, and I will grant you, there were some calls today that should not have been made, and there are some calls today that should have been made. You look at the Paul Richardson face mask on his incredible touchdown that I will get to more in a second. Look, should that have been called? Sure. You look at the TJ Jones go route on the outside. They should have thrown a pass interference, but they determined that the ball was uncatchable. Was that a bad call? Sure, but guys, you lost by 20 points today, dog. You had about 3, 4, maybe 5 drops today from your wide receivers. Your defense let up 160 yards rushing. They still called at least 6 penalties on the Seahawks today. You guys lost the game. You guys weren't good enough, period. Okay, you didn't run the ball very well. You didn't play very good defense. You let up a number of balls to Doug Baldwin. You lost the game. You weren't good enough. It's okay. You made it to the playoffs. Good. This was what was supposed to happen. This is what was going to happen. You were always going to lose this game, and it was never, to me, going to be very close. The Seahawks are better. They have the playoff experience, and they're so much better. You see how many stars they have defensively? Richard Sherman, Bobby Wagner, Michael Bennett. What do you guys have? Ezekiel Ansah finally coming back, getting 2 sacks. Okay, he's healthy, but DeAndre Levy, he's still not back to his old form. Glover Quinn, sometimes he's in play, sometimes he's not. Haloti Ngata is a shell of himself from Baltimore. Offensively, they have a way better running game than you guys have. Zach Zenner, come on. Their receivers, Doug Baldwin, Paul Richardson, I'd say they're better than your wide receivers, because even though your wide receivers are good on paper, and Golden Tate and Marvin Jones and Anquan Bolden, they definitely didn't show up today. Anquan Bolden, 2 horrific penalties, unnecessary roughness penalties. Now, the first one was the worst. Okay, when he's on the sideline, there's a defensive player for the Seahawks talking trash after he drops a ball and he pushes him, completely unnecessary. The second one, honestly, okay, that was a bad call. That was in the middle of the field. Him and Jeremy Lane were talking, whatever, and he shoved him again there. But he's a veteran. He needs to have better presence than that, better awareness than that. So I blame him again, because he just needs to be better than that. You already have a penalty. You're already costing your team so much in this game, being such a detriment and nothing but a detriment in this football game. And again, you saw Marvin Jones have a drop today. You saw Golden Tate have a drop today. They let down Matthew Stafford, and Stafford wasn't great. I'd say he was still good, maybe pretty good, but he wasn't great. He missed a number of throws. He missed a number of protection calls. He missed a lot of stuff. The Lions lost. Okay, they weren't good enough. So when we look at the Seattle Seahawks, let's start with the wide receiver of the day, possibly the player of the day, as Paul Richardson, formerly out of Colorado. I guess he's still out of Colorado. Had a great game today, including a fantastic wide receiving touchdown. And look, yes, you could argue that he grabbed the face mask of the receiver, but the referee and everyone in the building were not looking at the face mask. They were looking at Paul Richardson's hand, which might have been 2 feet away from the devil himself, near the ground, okay, and then still grabbing this ball, bringing it to his chest and holding onto it in the end zone. A fantastic play. If you have not seen the play, go look at the play. I'm sure it's on NFL's YouTube channel. And then he had another catch that was over the left sideline where he goes up and gets the ball over his head beautifully, and that's the type of catch, by the way, that Marvin Jones couldn't make today, that Anquan Bolden couldn't make today. Those are the difference, or to me, these are the plays that are the difference between the Lions and the Seahawks right now, okay? A beautiful catch there. He had another nice catch in this game. He played great. Doug Baldwin came alive in the fourth quarter. What a fantastic touchdown grab. What a fantastic number of plays to set up his team to go down and get that touchdown grab. Looking at the catch that was under his legs. Where were the Lions wide receivers making those plays today? Oh yeah, they didn't make those plays. That's, again, Lions fans, that's why you lost. Look at the difference of talent. They're so much better than you, dog, and they're at home. Of course you guys lost today. Don't be shocked. Don't blame the referees. You guys aren't even close to Seattle. Look, my team's the Tennessee Titans, man. We're not even close to Seattle. I look at their players, I'm like, my God, if we face the Seahawks in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, whatever, we'd probably get our asses kicked. You're not even close right now, dog. You got to find a star linebacker. You got to find a new running back to me. Draft a running back in the first or second round to me. So, again, I don't want to hear Lions fans complaining about the officiating. Again, it was not great. I agree. Were they leaning Seattle? Sure. But you weren't playing well. You put up 6 points. You put up 6 points. You were in the red zone maybe once, maybe twice, but I think only one time you were in the red zone. I mean, so what am I supposed to say? Okay, if they let that TJ Jones play, if they let that, if they call the right thing on that Paul Richardson, if they call the right thing here, then the Lions win the football game. You know how far of a difference we have to go? We still have to have the Lions go down and score 2 more or 3 more touchdowns to win this game. Okay, that's still a lot of stuff the Lions need to do and stuff they have been unable to do. You look at the last drive. This is a garbage drive. The Lions can't even go down the field and score a field goal. They get 1 first down, maybe 2 first downs, and then 4th and 13, and then that's it. They couldn't even score when the Seahawks defense was trying to let them score. I mean, in the very last drive of the game, when everyone scores, in garbage time, you guys couldn't even score points. So I don't want to hear it. So there you go. Now, as we look forward to the Seattle Seahawks going to the Atlanta Falcons. So, if you remember my bracket, my playoff bracket that I made, I had the Seahawks against the Falcons, I had the Falcons winning. Now, this game does give me some pause. I think I might stick with the Falcons, but the one thing that I liked today was that your defense was very, very good. A shutdown day from Richard Sherman. I'm not sure he allowed a reception. I have to go back and check, but I think his side of the field was almost blank today. He was fantastic. Bobby Wagner, fantastic. Michael Bennett, he's nowhere near as explosive as he was in the past. His injuries this year have slowed him down to me, but he's coming back. He had a sack today and some other nice plays. So again, you look at this defense, man, they're very good, and they can limit the Falcons a little bit, especially if Matt Ryan goes through some of the playoff issues that he's had in the past. So if that ends up being true, I could see the Seahawks winning that game now, especially when you look at this Falcons defense. They're not very good at all. They're missing Desmond Trufant. Robert Alford, I think he's having an injury right now as well. So the cornerbacks are weak. I think Paul Richardson and Doug Baldwin will find some success. I think Thomas Rawls will find some success. Russell Wilson today, I wasn't that impressed. And he ended up being pretty damn good in the fourth quarter. But quarters 1 through 3, I was a little underwhelmed. I expect better from him. He was not using his legs like I would like to see. Mainly because the Lions were using a lot of quarterback contain. But still, you know, a good quarterback of his stature should be able to get out, be mobile, and pick up some first downs. He wasn't doing that at all, and he needs to be able to do that. So I need to see him be a little bit better. But now that game is giving me a lot more pause than I thought it would. I had the Falcons winning easily before. Now I'm thinking about it. Okay, I'm really thinking about it. I still might pick the Falcons, but we'll see as this week progresses. Again, for the Detroit Lions, you know, I'll have my season recap up for this team later on this month. And look, to me, this is a good season. Okay, a lot of people weren't expecting you guys to make the playoffs. I had you guys, I think, at 8-8, maybe 7-9. I think it was a good year for you guys. I really do. But you have to find some big-time players. Okay, when you look at Seattle, they have big-time players. You got to find these type of players. Okay, if you want to draft running back in the first round, in the second round to help alleviate some pressure off of Matthew Stafford, good. If you want to draft a star cornerback, good. A star linebacker, good. Sign a star linebacker, good. You're going to have to do something if you want to win the Super Bowl, right? Because again, so many teams don't think about it like, hey, if we want to win a Super Bowl, what should we do? A lot of teams just think, if we want to get to the playoffs, what should we do? And then let's just see what happens in the playoffs. That's a dumb mentality. That's the mentality that got you here, okay, but it's not going to get you past here. How can we get to the Super Bowl? Got to get some bigger names on this roster to me. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Seahawks versus the Detroit Lions. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.